And today we're going to be building some shelves. These shelves are going to be made out of plywood and 2x4s. They're super, super strong. And not only that, to have any type of shelf that we could buy, we'd have to go more of a heavy type metal. Those range from 200 to 250 and up. This probably cost us near $100 to make, and I guarantee you it'll be a lot stronger. A lot of the metal shelves, they rack side to side. They're not as strong, and you can't load them down. This, you'll be able to stand on. It'll be so strong. I've made these plenty of times over the past 25, 30 years, and they are really, really strong. So let's get started. And we're going to be cutting some plywood in half. We're going to be cross-cutting some 2x4s. This thing should be 6 foot high and 8 foot wide. We're going to be adding the shelves in our attic. Make sure if you're adding shelves in your attic, you only do it according to the code in your area. And in our case, we're only working above a load-bearing structure beneath us that can support the added weight in the area that we're working in. I apologize for the audio issue. I forgot to turn my microphone on. So we're going to be cutting 4 2x4s, 82 inches. These will serve as the corner legs that'll go all the way up and support the 4 shelves that we're going to be adding. You were probably wondering why 82 inches. Well, you can ignore that. Yours is going to be different. My rafter height is 82 inches. So whatever yours is, adjust it for that height. Okay. For each shelf, I'm going to make the shelves 2 foot by 8 foot using 2x4s and 1/2 inch plywood. I'm using studs. They come 92 and 5/8. Turns out it works out perfect if you include one end cap piece. Let's turn this sideways so we can make it make sense. The frame for each shelf plus the other end will end up at 96 inches. Pardon the noise. I had to turn off the dust collection system in order to record this video. So we're going to have 2 end cap pieces on each shelf at 24 inches. And yes, I'm using scrap wood here. We need a center cross piece at 21. That's going to give us 96 long and 2 foot wide. Wonderful. Don't forget to square up your work. So, fastening our project together, if you want to make a countersink, and you're going to use a screw gun, I'd recommend you pre-drill the holes, because this close to the end, it's going to split this wood. However, most people don't have one, but I have one. So today I'm going to be using a framing gun to do this. It's going to make quick work of this project. If you don't have one, just do it this way. Let me show you how I deal with a twisted board. I put a screw in, use a hammer to twist it back where I want it, and then nail it. We got a lot of twisting going on. Okay, so here's our bottom shelf that we made downstairs. And I'm bracing the first one here. So a lot of people wonder, well, can this deck support it? You have to make sure that underneath this in the house, you're constructing this on top of a load-bearing wall. So if you pardon me, I'm going to put my dust mask on, or my neck gaiter back on. And I'm going to set the camera down on the tripod, and let's cut some wood. Here I'm putting the 2 foot by 8 foot plywood on the first shelf, basically building the shelving unit in place because it would be simply too heavy to pack upstairs. Alrighty. I put one of these totes that the wife purchased here because we need to get a good idea of how much spacing we need between each shelves. This one is right at 14 and a half with this little ridge. So just to make sure we have enough space between the bottom shelf and then able to get our hands up here to pull it out, I think on this particular shelf, we're going to give it 16 inches. That should give us about 1.25 inches space if we ever need to put our hand between the shelves. So 16 inches is the first shelf. Let's see how that's going to line out. Each shelf is 4 inches. So let's use this as our ledger board. We should be able to get a 4-inch shelf on top. If we're not able to fit it in there, this will be our top shelf. This last tub should be able to fit where this is the top of the tub here going across. We don't need another shelf up there. Hey, if we can fit one, we'll put it. I don't think we'll need it. Okay, so 16 inches between shelves is what we need. I got a bunch of scrap blocks here, and I'm going to clamp them in place as a temporary type of cripple. I don't want all of them to be 16 inches because then they're going to be hard to get out. So I'll use this one as a measuring device. Clamp pad fell off. I apologize for my microphone. It turns out I forgot to turn it on again. So what I'm going to do here is I'm making sure that the crown of the 2x4 we're using is up. And then that way, if the shelf ever settles a little, it'll still be as straight as possible. So you remember what I said about how to straighten out a crooked board by putting a screw in it using your hammer. This is another good example of it. Pull up a little bit, and away we go. Measure 48 inches from either end. Mark it, and we're going to be putting a 21-inch shelf brace across the center. All 3 shelf frames complete. Okay, for the center support brace, I'm going to cut 2 pieces of 2x4 at 64 inches. On the front center brace, I'm going to chamfer the top at 22.5 degrees just to take the edge off, so if anyone's reaching up, they don't hit that sharp edge when trying to slide things off and on the shelf. Okay, so center support brace chamfered in at the top, right in the center. Let's get her level. Okay. So notice this. My 16-inch spacer, which is the same on each end, I'm putting it in the center now to account for any settling or lag that might have happened while we were building the shelf. Let's get this puppy screwed up. Screwed in? Yeah, we'd rather screw it in than screw it up. Let's stop, go back, and make sure we're still plumb. Perfect. You know, I forgot to move our spacer to make sure. And here we have it. Enough space for 16 storage totes. I don't think we're going to put any more up top. Thank you for watching. Please hit the subscribe button and leave us some comments in the bottom. Thanks again.